Good moto morning. Welcome to another episode of Kraken's Garage. It's a beautiful day in the Old Dominion. What's Kraken getting into today? Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. So where I'm headed today is up to Stonewall Harley-Davidson. I crested 1,000 miles on the Revival, and we're going to get her first service done. I normally do my own services, but the first one out of the box, I want to have a second set of eyes and a Harley tech take a hard look at it and make sure everything's in spec and see if there's any firmware updates on the boom entertainment system, infotainment system I should say. In general, a look over. Now, I recently posted a video about what's the best oil for your bike, and like I said in the video, I'm going to put Sin 3 in this bike. And the reason why I make an appointment for an oil change, one of the comments from Guy up in Canada goes, you know, I wonder if the techs really heat the motor up 20 to 30 minutes before they work on your bike. And the answer to that is most likely not. But if you book your trips accordingly, your visits to the dealership, and just tell them that you're going to wait for the service. Yeah, I got to sit around 3 hours waiting for the service on the bike, which is kind of annoying, but I know the bike is definitely heated up to operating temperature when it's brought in for service by the qualified Harley-Davidson techs. So that's a win-win. And I'll browse around the dealership, see if they have anything exciting to share on camera. The electric guide is running absolutely wonderful. My gosh, I like this bike. One minor annoying thing, you see my phone hanging out here. The pocket for the cell phone isn't large enough for my huge smartphone, so it kind of has to hang out, so it is what it is. It's still wedged in there nice and tight, so she ain't going anywhere. And then that links into the whole infotainment system. I'm getting ready to do a series of videos on this bike and share my thoughts, my 5 favorite things I love about this bike, and the 5 things that I don't like about this bike. So be subjective, some interesting content from a different perspective. What's kind of fascinating about this dealership, Stonewall Harley-Davidson, used to be Waugh's, W-A-U-G-H, and he was a prominent Virginian and had been in this area. His family, there's streets named after his family. Oddly enough, when Harley was pressuring all the dealerships to upgrade their showrooms and their boutiques, forcing the dealers to spend millions of dollars to do so, many of the dealers went out of business and threw up the middle finger and said, no, I'm not going to do that. And Harley said, okay, thank you very much, we'll take our franchise back, have a nice life. And they did. So there was a lot of salty people over that. And we gone. Somehow, old man Waugh, who had Waugh's Harley-Davidson in Orange, Virginia, managed to escape that. And he never had to update his dealership to what many of them did. He must have been a big wig within the Harley community to dodge that bullet. And as a result, the dealership I'm going now is lackluster by most dealership standards that Harley-Davidson has. It's pretty worn down establishment, kind of piecemeal. There's stairs kind of going all over the place. The customer lounge only holds about 3 people. The bays that the techs work in look like a garage out of the 30s. So truthfully, it's my kind of store. I don't much care for the dealerships where I feel like I'm going into, say, Neiman Marcus to shop for stuff for my bikes. I don't want to be a Neiman Marcus. I'm not a Neiman Marcus kind of guy. I'm a blue Blue Jean and Carhartt kind of guy, and that's just who I am. Kind of my take on this dealership. All summer long, I haven't really taken any test rides on new bikes coming out. This dealership hasn't had the inventory, and I don't want to go up and test ride bikes when they can't keep them in stock. So I don't know about dealerships nationwide, but Harley-Davidson has had a bumper crop year of selling their bikes. It's been a great year for them. So I'm super happy about that the Moco is making some money. Good stuff there. By the way, you can see the leaves are just starting to turn. We're not there yet. Another week or two, and we'll get a hard frost here pretty soon, and that'll flip the leaves right over. But they're definitely becoming beautiful in this neck of the woods. I plant a flower garden in front of my home every year, and I historically plant impatiens in the front. I have a great big long front footage of the house, so that flower garden houses 143 impatiens that I plant every single year, and they're phenomenal this year. They're over 3 foot tall, just unbelievable. But when we get that first hard frost, they get nuked, gone, like a thief in the night. So, kind of funny. I know, you guys aren't here to hear me talk about my flower garden. I'm up at Stonewall Harley-Davidson, just got the bike serviced, and getting ready to head home. We're out of here. The tech that brought it out is not a very tall devil, and he rode up on his tippy toes. And he said, "This bike was made for you." And I said, "It certainly was." Talking about how high the seat is. Well, the first service is done at the Harley dealership, and they told me something that I didn't know. I learn something new every time I come to the dealership. In this infotainment center system, it logs in its memory that it was serviced at a Harley-Davidson dealership. So it has a chronological, historic service value built into it. I need to research that, so when I service it in the future, will I be able to tag it in the system. I swear it looks like it's gonna rain, but check the weather, and I checked it again, and it says no on the rain, so bizarre. Yeah, so that was a new bit of information, and it was kind of a surprise to the service writer as well. He wasn't aware of that as well, so something new on the newer Harley-Davidsons. There you go. I have some future videos coming up on this bike. We're going to talk about the infotainment system and how to get it up and running, and how it interacts with your CETA headsets, the pros and cons, and I'll also throw in the Harley tax. Anyone that owns a Harley knows what I'm talking about, but when I throw around that term. Happy to get that done. Next service is done at 5,000 miles, so roughly about 4,500 miles. What I don't know is, can you enter in the infotainment system so it pops up and it lets you know that you're ready for your service. I have to research that as well. Winter is coming. I will have oodles of time, sadly, to learn all these learning curves on this beautiful new bike. But considering how my summer panned out, I'm happy that I got 1,000 miles on this bike this summer at all. Super happy about that. Fall is happening. The leaves are starting to turn. Virginia is a beautiful state this time of year. I know a lot of people head south into the warmer climates. They get tired of winter and stuff like that, but Virginia, we only get a couple snowfalls a year, and it's usually only an inch or two. Every 5 or 10 years we'll get Snowmagate, and we'll get a couple of feet. That said, the sun pops out within a week and it's gone. So we have very mild winters here in Virginia, but I enjoy the change of seasons. I really makes you appreciate spring when it gets warm and you hop on your bike and go for a ride, or on a crisp fall day and you're riding by the pumpkin patches and the leaves are turning, and just beautiful. as long as there isn't snow on the ground. Instead, I tend to wrench on my bikes all winter, and then I ride them all spring and summer. So you haven't seen me doing a whole lot of wrenching for a multitude of reasons, but basically because I saved that for the winter time. So there's one in every crowd. Just has to get by everybody on a 2-lane highway, and I'm already doing 5 to 10 over the speed limit. Good night. What is wrong with me? And he's crossing a double yellow line to get around that guy. Well, I hope karma comes and bites you in your rear end, sir. Putting people in danger. So I finally got my audio working, and I also have the new chin mount on my helmet. So this is kind of the first video that I'm going to be posting with the new chin mount, which reduces all the plumbing on the side of the helmet. So hopefully it's nice and stable and centered and you get a good view. Now that winter is dropping, I'm going to replace this short windshield with the taller one that Colby sent me and see how that one does. By the way, this one was a thumbs down. At around 55 miles per hour, it does great. But when I get above 60, I'm getting quite the wind blast on my helmet. So this video is going to be a little noisy from that wind blast, if that correlates in the audio of the video. We shall see. And with that, there's my Ghost Dog Bourbon that I left out in the last video. Sorry, Bourbon. And he's telling me to wrap this video up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding. It's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.